So TASA is the Australian Sociological Association. It's the peak disciplinary body for sociology in Australia, and it's a really good way to come together. We come together every year at the conference and at other events and through our publications throughout the year to find out what each other are doing and support each other's work. As a sociologist at a regional university, I find TASA really useful thing to participate in because I'm linked into other sociologists in a way that I don't get at my own university.
Why do you think it is important to be connected with other sociologists?
Well, I think in Australia in particular, institutions are quite spread apart. Australia, by its own unique character, is quite distant in that we have metropolitan areas that are very far away from other ones, unlike England, for instance, which are quite close. And so as a consequence of that, we don't really see each other that often. And so being able to come together and actually remember that you are actually part of a larger community than just the 2 or 3 people in your department is actually quite helpful and quite allows you to kind of develop a bit of a sense of camaraderie within this kind of discipline called sociology.
And to feed off of each other's ideas and make sure that we keep doing new and exciting things and building on what each other are doing as well.
Can you tell me about the conference in the last couple of days? Why did the conference come about, and why do you think it's important to have this meeting once a year?
Well, the conference happens once a year, and regardless, so it's a annually thing, and I suppose what we try to do in the conference is to develop a space not just for academics like Teresa and myself, but also for postgraduates to come. And it was really important, I think, when the conference was developing, getting a lot more popular in the early 90s, that they actually started to look at ways in which we can assist postgraduates in their work and develop their work a lot better. So what happens in TASA conferences, having organised last year's conference, is that a lot of postgraduates actually come. And so it's really good space for them to come and enjoy each other's company, but also to get mentoring opportunities, I think, which is very good, and that's something that I come to TASA back to when I was if I think back to when I was a postgraduate, that's one of the reasons why I kept coming to TASA myself, yeah.
And we're also really interested in not just working together across academics and postgrads, but also with sociologists who work in the public sector and the community sector, and how they're implementing sociology on a daily basis, and how the theories that we develop in the academic settings are used or sometimes not relevant and being challenged in those spaces as well.
Can you tell me about some of the speakers that you heard throughout the conference the last couple of days, some who were memorable to you?
Did you want to
Well, I think all 3 keynotes were really fantastic. They were all really engaging, challenging in a lot of ways, which was the theme of the conference, so they suited that really well. Challenging in different ways, and so I think all 3 keynotes will really stick with me for a fair while.
Yeah, I particularly enjoyed Professor David Inglis's talk from a perspective on that we in sociology need to remember that part of our responsibility in some ways is to uncover the kind of, I can't remember the word I'm looking for, reveal, I suppose, the different structures in place that kind of create this thing that we call the social, which is effectively what sociology is supposed to be about in some ways, so yeah.
And the use of irony and humour to challenge the kinds of structures that we're quite critical of in sociology, to do that a bit playfully, which is often more easily accessible to people who are outside of academia and outside of sociology.
What do you hope that people who attended this conference gained from coming, and what do you hope people will gain from coming to more conferences like this to come?
Well, I think one of the things that we struggle with in sociology in public discourse is a kind of level of invisibility in some ways. A lot of people don't know what sociology is. You constantly get that question from first-year sociology students, what is sociology? What can I do with this degree, so to speak? But I hope what especially postgrads understand when they come to this conference is that the discipline remains alive and quite resilient after all of these years. It's been here since really has been established since about the 1950s in Australia, and continues to flourish in some ways. I mean, we've had record numbers of members this year, which is astounding for an organisation in this current climate, especially in the current university climate. So I think one of the things I want and constantly think about when I go to these conferences is how the younger generations are perceiving sociology. And I think when they see the strength of it and they see the camaraderie, especially, and also the kind of potential opportunities to link up with older academics, they will see that sociology is quite strong still and will remain resilient for some time. That's my hope anyway.
I think the networks that we build up are really important at the conference every year. So catching up at least once a year with our colleagues from other universities, thinking about ways that we can work together. Nick and I met at a TASA conference in 2008 and developed a joint paper out of that because of some overlapping research interests. And I think that's a really important thing that the TASA conference offers sociologists.
And how can sociologists become a part of the Australian Sociology Association?
To join TASA, you need to simply fill out the membership form and pay a small membership fee, which is tax deductible because it's a work-related expense. That's it. Anyone can join TASA, which is why we have 729 members at the moment.
And I'm guessing you'd recommend people to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think whenever you're part of a discipline, you should probably think about joining the disciplinary association of some sort. And I'd say the same to anyone, anthropologists, historians, or anything like that. And I think fundamentally that's not necessarily about kind of maintaining some sort of disciplinary boundary, but what it is about kind of understanding that there are people out there who are working in this field and then developing, as Teresa said before, those links that can lead to further collaborations in the future and various other things. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it.